Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try to track your calories, your body just doesn't respond? For years, I was obsessed, truly obsessed with tracking calories. Every single thing I put into my mouth, every snack, every bite, I meticulously calculated. I was a slave to calorie counting. I could tell you the difference between a medium to large apple and the penalty for a handful of grapes. My brain was pretty much a walking encyclopedia of calorie data. It took up so much mental space. For years, I felt really stuck in this kind of obsessive compulsive cycle. I also always felt tired, deprived, and honestly, it felt a lot like a mental prison. But here's what I've learned. Calorie counting is not the flawless system we've been told it is. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why calorie counting stopped working for me, the system I built instead, and exactly how I stay slim without tracking a single calorie. First, let's talk about why calorie counting works until it doesn't. We've been taught that weight loss is purely calories in versus calories out. And yes, thermodynamics matter, and there is an element of truth to this, but here's what no one tells you. Calorie counts are inaccurate. Labels can be legally off by 20%, so your 400 calorie meal can actually be 480 calories or only 320. It's all over the map. And though that may seem like a small difference, it really adds up over the day, and you could be consuming more or less calories than you really believe you are. Absorption varies. The same meal is processed differently depending on your gut health, stress, or sleep quality, even depending on what you ate the day before. Your body is complicated, and there's a lot of different systems going on, and it changes the way we absorb nutrients. Your metabolism adapts. When you consistently eat less, your body burns fewer calories doing the exact same activities in order to keep you alive. That's why your weight loss plateaus. Plus, it's exhausting. I remember during this one season of my life, I kind of just denied myself peanut butter. And after a really hard day emotionally, I remember just eating a significant portion of that peanut butter. And then I was disgusted with myself because binge eating often comes out of a place of restriction. I was restricting myself, and when I wasn't mentally capable of saying no anymore, I just lost it because it was forbidden. It was a forbidden food for me. When we make what we may mentally think is a bad choice, like, oh, I've already ruined my calories for the day. I've ruined my calories for the week anyway, so I might as well just make all of these terrible mistakes. It's just a very toxic mentality. Counting calories wasn't working for my body, and it definitely wasn't working for my mind. So what changed? I decided to stop outsourcing my body's wisdom to an archaic calorie system. Instead, I focused on how my body actually works. Hunger, hormones, gut health, fullness signals, and lifestyle rhythms. I built a new system that keeps me slim, energized, and free from obsessive tracking. And today I'm breaking every part of that system down for you. The first pillar is intermittent fasting. Another terminology that I personally like to use is the term gentle fasting. I believe that every single human should fast for at least 12 hours every single day. This might seem simple to many of you, and for others of you, you actually might have no idea how long you actually go without food. I personally typically eat in like a 9-10 hour window during the day. So this means that I might break my fast around 8 a.m. and stop eating by 6 p.m. I have young kids, so we eat dinner around 5 o'clock. So it actually makes it very easy to stop by 6. And this gives my body a break. It allows my body to use my stored energy, and it keeps my insulin levels stable. One of the reasons why I call this gentle fasting is this is not a strict or rigid rule for me. It's kind of a guideline. In the morning, if I wake up genuinely hungry before 8 a.m., especially on days when my kids wake me up at 5 a.m., and 8 a.m. is a long ways away from that with just coffee in my stomach, I will honor my hunger and possibly eat earlier. But it also means that I might be cognizant in the evening that I broke my fast really early, so maybe to have an early dinner and stop eating by 5. Something like that. It's about honoring my body's cues and not just following a clock. Fasting also works for me because I don't wake up starving. And if I'm a little bit hungry, I'll put fiber in my coffee, and I find this just kind of stabilizes me for a few hours in the morning. It also simplifies my mornings. I'm not waking up and needing to eat right away. Or when I take my kids to school, I can take them to school and then come home and eat breakfast later instead of shoving things in my mouth before I go. It just simplifies the morning. And it really truly does help me regulate my appetite throughout the day. Before having kids, I used to practice a more aggressive form of fasting. So I would say had more of a 16-8 fast, where I wouldn't eat before 11 a.m. or often would break my fast at lunchtime. But I find that in my current season of life, because I'm waking up so early with my kids and because I rarely get to sleep through the night with them, if I delay my breakfast that long, or if I delay breaking my fast that long, I have found that it spikes my cortisol. It used to cause a bit of havoc on my hormones and anxiety. So now I'm honoring my hunger, honoring my season of life. And that's why I eat earlier now than when I used to. It's all about honoring your season. Also, if you're new to fasting, start gradually. Delay breakfast by an hour. See how you feel and go from there. Or just stop eating earlier in the evening. And if you get a late night craving, stop and say, okay, I might give myself that craving, but then I have to wait 12 hours from that before I break my fast. And that might make you actually stop that late night craving because you don't want to wait that long to have breakfast. Little things like that can be really powerful. Next is prioritizing protein. Every meal I eat, I make sure that protein is the star, or at least the center point. Greek yogurt bowls, eggs, cottage cheese salad dressings, tuna salads, protein smoothies, or ground beef bowls. Protein keeps you full, stabilizes blood sugar, maintains muscle so that your metabolism can remain higher, and reduces cravings dramatically. Years ago, I used to eat oatmeal for breakfast, which is not a bad breakfast, but I would find that I would get hungrier so much faster versus now almost every single day I either have eggs or Greek yogurt, and I find that these meals satisfy me and I don't even think about food for hours. And in my season of life, it's crazy, it's chaotic, it's busy. Oh my goodness, toddler life. So having a satisfying protein meal, it's a game changer for my season of life. Third is eating way more fiber. This has honestly been life-changing for me. I just think it's such a fascinating nutrient. Most women eat less than half the recommended amount of fiber. It is ridiculous how little fiber we get in the SAD diet. The first thing I did to increase my fiber intake is I started putting inulin fiber in my coffee every single day. And this is such an amazing thing to do for your health, for your gut health, for your hormonal health, for everything. It is just such a powerful thing to do. So easy to and tastes so good. I also really enjoy having like a big salad loaded with different kinds of veggies for lunch or dinner. And I snack on veggies all the time, like cucumbers, peppers. I also really try to get berries in different meals. So like breakfast, because berries are pretty high in fiber. So I'll add berries to my Greek yogurt bowls, or I'll have a berry snack in the afternoon. I'll also occasionally make things like chia pudding for snacks or desserts, which are loaded in fiber and healthy omega-3s. Check out this video to learn about chia seeds. But fiber keeps you fuller for longer because it expands in your stomach. It also feeds your good gut bacteria and helps to regulate hormones like ghrelin, your hunger hormone. It also stabilizes your blood sugar to prevent energy crashes and cravings. I find that when I focus on fiber, it naturally regulates my appetite without me having to use any willpower. So really focusing on prioritizing protein and feasting on fiber, put those two together and it's magic. Finally, there's portion control. To be totally honest with you, I used to hate that phrase because I thought it meant eating tiny amounts of food and then constantly feeling deprived. But it's actually not about restriction. It's about satisfaction. Because when you focus on portion control, you can eat absolutely anything you want, but just an appropriate portion. So for example, yesterday I made this delicious creamy spaghetti with prawns and bacon. It was so good and so rich. So I only had a small portion on my plate and I got to enjoy this delicious meal, but I was satisfied with a small amount, so it didn't cause havoc on my body or my goals or anything else. The poison is in the portion. You can eat absolutely anything, but be aware of the portion of it. Here's what changed for me. I use smaller plates and bowls. I have these little glass ramekins and I use these all the time. So even if I'm eating something like blueberries, I will put them in this bowl instead of like a giant bowl. And the reason being is it's psychologically satisfying to see a full bowl of something. I also use this for chips. I love salt and vinegar kettle chips. So good, but I put them in this bowl. It allows me to have a full bowl of chips, but the bowl is just smaller. It's just a really easy way to have portion control, which I talk more about in this video. Also, using salad plates for lunch has made a really big difference for me. I will be honest, I use normal dinner plates at dinner because I think it would just look weird to have a salad plate on the table. I don't know, it feels weird for me. It doesn't feel authentic to my family. But at lunchtime, I have lunch off of a salad plate. It's such an easy switch, such an easy switch. I also aim to fill half of my plate with non-starchy veggies at every single meal. Maybe not breakfast, sometimes breakfast. Sometimes I'll have like an arugula cilantro salad on the side of my eggs, but I don't with my Greek yogurt because that would just be super gross. I am also very in tune with my body. So I am listening for satisfaction in my body, not stuffness. Be satisfied, not stuffed. I think there's a great Japanese principle about eating till you're 80% full. And that's when I pause. I take a pause and I think, do I need more? Do I want more? Or will I be okay? And in general, I'm usually okay at that point. So just take a pause when you're about 80% full. And like I kind of said before, I always portion snacks that are in a bag and I put them into something smaller. It just allows me to be aware of how much I'm consuming and just makes portion control a part of my life. It also keeps me intentional without having to track every gram and calorie. When you combine intermittent fasting, prioritizing protein, feasting on fiber, and portion control, your hunger hormones regulate themselves. You're not fighting your body anymore, you're working with it. I no longer need to calorie count to tell me what my body needs. I trust myself. I eat satisfying meals. I don't feel restricted, and I'm able to be slim without being obsessive. Let me know in the comments if you also struggle with calorie or macro counting, or some tips and tricks that have helped you overcome these archaic systems. Remember that you deserve to live a life of freedom from food, and you also deserve to eat like a woman who loves herself. Give yourself all the grace, and remember that you, right now as you are beautiful. And you are worthy of change and investing in yourself. Bye guys, see you in the next one.